Hello, chat. Alrighty, I got the mic in the way this time, but I want to try and make it so you can understand me. Oof. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so let's take a look. Try that again. Waiting for the Zwift power to load up. Very slow. Anyone else find that? Okay, so not working again. Let's try again. Third time's a charm. There we go. Okay, so this is the race I'm doing today, based on the series of the 3R World Tour. Simply because of the fact that I've been turning up to every event and scoring decent points on hitting the leaderboard. I think you get 30 points for a win or 35. Anyway, I'm streaks ahead at the moment, so I just got to keep consistent. This is the 6th round, I think, out of 8. So this is a sign-ups for the race today. I'll just check how long I've got. 50 seconds. Okay. Right, so today, I've got a couple of people who are a bit faster than me. But it's not going to be nuts like it was the last 2 races. So there's a couple of 5.5s, 5.4 riders. But it should be a little bit less stress this race. So let's go back to, and I'll put the make sure I got everything right. Don't want trainer control. Here we go. Settle into a rhythm here, because okay, so for this stream I've got the music and the Zwift sound turned up a bit. So it might be too loud. We'll see how it goes. All about experimentation. I'm not using the big fan today to see how long I can hold on without it too hot. I made sure I've got the correct bike set up this time. What happened last time was I was using the TT bike before the event, so when I joined up, it just assigned me the regular Zwift bike. Luckily it gave me the disc wheels, but still, it's probably 3 or 4 seconds slower up that climb than I should have been with the Tron. But this time I made sure I've got the right bike for the right course. Bend with the 8x8 tips wheels, disc. Either way, the fastest wheels on the flat, fastest bike on the flat. My eyes have got to watch here of the pink team. But no pins or something? And stretched out a little bit. Push across this gap. Obviously today I want to go to the finish with the least amount of riders, but I've also got a good chance in the sprint, so I don't need to burn myself up trying to offload riders. I've just got to make sure I stay with the splits. As there's no one in the chat, I'll experiment with the RTX for a bit now. First I'm back to using the RTX. Might turn it up a little bit. So mostly for my future reference, I'm using the RTX now at about 90%. Probably adjust the microphone a little bit up. I think my mic is a little bit loud, but saves me having to yell. So it's 2 laps of this race. We're basically just doing the flat section. So we turn left, head to the Is it the aquacon, reverse aqua? Anyway, it's quite a long distance, but it's flat. And after those two races early in the week, I'm quite happy for a nice tempo ride. I didn't ride yesterday because I just felt flat. So what I'll do is I took the day off riding, and then tomorrow I'll just ride around, do a long steady ride in zone 1, a little bit of zone 2. Just to get the training load up this week, not let it drop off. Let's see how I wake up tomorrow. Otherwise if I wake up feeling terrible, I'll just bin it. Have tomorrow and Monday off. Fresh for Tuesday. See how these life packs. It's got ice and some Ziploc bags. Hopefully it doesn't leak. Can't get my hand out. About last year in winter, you have to be careful with how much you keep your back cool. You keep your back way too cool on these rides, it can cause issues, I think, it's muscle stiffness and things. At least for me anyway. Average power's been good. I've been trying to lose weight the last week and a half. Not doing anything drastic, just making sure I keep swap out the snacks for tea. Still eating chocolate and things, but just not being excessive. I'm easily 3 or 4 kilos heavier than I could be. So it doesn't take much for me to lose a little bit of weight. If you're really serious into cycling, I could easily be 10 kilos lighter. Well, not easily, but a lot of riders my height are 10 kilos lighter. If I get rid of all of this. But for me, I'm not paid to cycle, I do it for fun. So, that life balance. I'm currently at the top end of 74 kilos. So, I'd like to get down to about 72. Let's see how it goes. I got my short socks on today. Try and keep the heat at bay. Well, it's not very only 10 degrees outside. I've got the window open. I just run hot. As I was saying in the back pedal chat, when I used to do courier riding, I'd be riding around on shorts and a t-shirt in the middle of winter, 5 degrees or so at night time, and all the other courier riders would be wearing down jackets, balaclavas, things, gloves. I occasionally wore gloves, but my hands get very hot. And when you're courier riding, it's different than riding out on the countryside, because you're constantly stopping and starting for traffic lights, especially when you're stopping to deliver, so you're going inside buildings, outside buildings. So you're a bit like riding indoors in terms of you don't get much airflow for most of the riding. And a lot of the riding, I've been doing VO2 efforts. VO2 efforts from traffic light up the hills. Looking back, I definitely know I rode too much, but the point wasn't to get fast. The point was to make money. So, this came with a job. Okay, so now we're coming to this little climb. Maybe someone's going to make an attack here. It's too early, I think. It's not the most exciting race because basically they've only got this point to attack. Maybe a couple of others to the finish line. There's a little bump, but there's no real reason to attack here unless you take 4 or 5 riders, strong riders with you. It's a long way out to the finish. Better to attack here next lap. You can see riders already pushing to the front. At least there's no burritos in this race, unlike the classics. Can't believe people don't know how to use burritos still. I can understand it if you're new to Zwift, but when you're racing in Cat 1 and you pop a burrito when you're getting dropped, boggles my mind. So everyone's pushing hard. Definitely make sure I don't get caught out here. These are up, but not too much. Try to don't lose yours. Watching this on replay, you could probably fast forward for a bit. strange thing about not having a head-up display is that people still push a little bit harder on the descent. Not certain if they can back off. They can't see their speed. A lot of riders look at the speed of the group. If it's above 50 kilometers an hour, you can just sit in the group quite easily on those downhills without much pressure on the pedals. It's no use going to the front because you just hit the wind and get pushed back again. But without the head-up display, it makes it a little bit trickier. The usual visual references aren't there. Okay, cobbles. Sorry, it's loud. Zwift really needs to turn the cobble noise down in game. I reckon I can ride around a bit more interesting view for a bit. Well, a bit too interesting, that view. On the rider, sitting up in the middle of the pack. White helmet, pink. I'll zoom in and out just to help for reference. Those new to Zwift, watching this shows my rider sitting up and all the other riders in a more aero position. But that's just what I see. Everyone else playing this game will see the same thing but for their rider, so I'd be in a more aero position. Except for when we're going up an incline like that, other riders will get out of the saddle when they're up, when their cadence is too low. I shouldn't say too low. The cadence is low. I think it's below 75 now. Something like that. 75 and 3 or 4% gradient. We'll push to the front. I'm quite content to let this guy go. Very difficult for a single rider to stay away from a group this size. Did you see that? There's a guy going. So, important view. This is another one chase down. There's the group will follow. So it's easier to make it different now. I'll have to roll over the top. Help catch this guy up ahead. the back of the group for a bit. There, put a bit of a surge in. Make sure I don't get dropped. So we're all back together. That's why it's hard to get away by yourself. One big surge from the group. Another little surge. Both is down with this guy. Roll over the top. Everyone else will come past me. Just keeps the speed up, so not as many attacks. Everyone, well, when someone attacks, everyone chases, but they stop before they get to the rider, so they sit behind. Others want to attack. So if you want to stop attacks, roll over the top. Don't have to do much effort. Just keep the pace rolling and make it harder to attack. It's harder with this no HUD display. But if you go up to the 50 kilometers an hour, anyone who attacks above that is really pushing, and they're not going to sustain that. Whereas if you're rolling around 45, they can get much further away. So every time you chase down an attack, just roll through a little bit. Keep the pace going. You can see usually I sit in the pack, try and save energy. I don't want the pace to be too slow here. And I'm not doing much effort. But if I'm rolling forward, then the pack's slow. It's pretty slow. So it's worthwhile just keeping that pack rolling to save chasing down attacks. Let's drive forward again. Keep it in the blue zone, and it's an easy ride. Keep it in the upper blue zone, and the race is an easy race. Yeah, so we're just rolling forward. If you're watching this on replay, press 2 times or skip 20 minutes. Because there's not much going to happen until that second pump. Not really a column though, it's just a little gentle rise. But that's where you can attack and make it stick. I don't know if the microphone's the best position, it's pointed at. I'll change it there. Okay. Down. Okay. Let's see how it is. I'm just trying to get this stream to a quality that I'd like to watch. I think visually I've got it sorted, but like if you watch Ed Labrack, Black Racing Without Mercy, Shane Miller, GP Lama, they have a nice audio. Speaking of which, if you're a big fan of GP Lama's live streams, you'll probably get a lot more of them. It's Melbourne and Victoria. It's under a 5-day lockdown. Thanks to New South Wales not going down earlier. Just like the rest of Australia saying, learn the lesson from Victoria. Do a snap lockdown. Don't wait. But New South Wales thought that they were better than the rest. Thought that they had a gold standard. And now they're going to be, all likelihood, they're going to be in as long or longer lockdown than Victoria was. The difference being Victoria at least had the excuse of not having a full understanding of how this can get away from you. New South Wales had lots of lessons before this happened and didn't learn from those lessons, much to Melbourne's frustration, because we're in lockdown now thanks to people from New South Wales bringing the virus here. Oddly enough, Australia's success at containing the virus is what has led us here now, because the federal government has been very slack in claiming responsibility for quarantine and also vaccinations. They haven't run a proper vaccination campaign. Just like the rest of the world, they haven't got on top of misinformation. So there's a very low percentage of people in Australia vaccinated. I'm not saying we wouldn't have had the situation at high vaccination rates, but it can be argued that certainly wouldn't make it worse. Hey Jason, I'm just chatting to myself. Complaining about we're in lockdown in New South Wales, I'm locked down in Victoria because of New South Wales not going to lockdown earlier, spreading the virus to us. I'm about to go through the banner for lap 2. It's a pretty chill race. Maybe over these bumps, people might attack. There's been a couple already, but at this pace it's very difficult to get away. How's your leg feeling? You snapped your Achilles, didn't you? I need to be more like Phil. Phil love it and remember everything that everyone does. Oh, Carl's in the chat too. Yeah, I understand, Carl. It's actually my third stream for the week. So it's just more of a test this time to try and see if I can get the microphone much better settings. I'm not running my big fan, so I'm seeing if I can stay cool with just my 2 little fans. There's about 3 or 4 riders stronger than me in this race, but they're not going to get away. So I'm going to try and get to the sprint. If I get to the sprint, I've got a chance for a win. Definitely should get top 5. Have to muck it up to get outside top 5. Oh, I've got a dropout on my... Hopefully I don't get a dropout in Zwift. Thanks, Carl. I'll stop it over. I was running. I'll put it on mute for a second. Okay, so now I'm running a different filter to see which one runs better. So the previous one was my RTX, which usually cuts out the beginning of my sentence. This is the OBS suppression software. Oh, get kicking up here. So make sure I don't get dropped. Almost got sped out the back then. One other thing is, with no HUD, I can't see if I'm getting any mini dropouts. With the Tron, one of the advantages you can see if you get dropouts, because the Tron's lights go out. You have to open the companion up, I suppose, to keep an eye on it. The membraneous. I know people love it. Part of the hamstring that you tore, Jason. I think the little niggles that I get, I think sometimes it's from clipping for me. Just that slightly different action. Twisting. Certainly nothing like you got though, but you made a very quick recovery. I think David needs to keep doing those rides, Carl, to make sure he stays faster than you. You're in impressive form, Carl. I've got my ice packs down the back of my jersey and some zip bags. If I wasn't live streaming, it'd definitely be top off and probably a wet towel or something. Trying to spill stuff here, right, please. Bit of a boring old race, this one. 2 laps is a long way. I was happy when I saw the course though, because I definitely didn't want any more tough VO2 workouts this week. And I'm glad we got the Innsbruck race out of the way last week. I got smashed in that one. Yeah, I think you did alright, Jason. I mean, no injury's the same. I think doing a long, steady ride is a good way to do it. Probably outdoors too, because you're not a bit more fluidity in your pedal stroke. Because I take off the front, but happened the same thing last lap. Just let them go. If someone else decides to chase off, ride their wheels. But it's very hard to stay away on this course as a single rider. You have to be able to ride at 48 kilometres, 49 kilometres an hour average. Kickboxing. Yeah, you'd have strong legs from doing that. You probably, muscles have probably gotten used to all those little micro tears. Not that I know anything about it. I still haven't watched that video of Conor McGregor breaking his leg. I hate watching that stuff. I think there was a basketball the week before that hyperextended his knee or something. That anything to do with a leg. I suppose arm as well, but leg particularly, I just can't stand it. Makes me all queasy. I dislocated my thumb a few years ago. I don't know, maybe if it's yourself it's not so bad, but my thumb was sticking out at a really odd angle. Didn't hurt. I didn't realise until I tried to, what I was trying to do, trying to put my bike somewhere, and for some reason I couldn't grab what I was trying to grab. I looked down and realised my thumb was pointing in the wrong direction, and the passerby who was helping me, she went white. Oh. Oh, that sounds horrible, Jason. Don't post that up on the chat if you got video. Oh, for a second now I thought my rider was going to go right. This ride's pretty much has been this chill, except for a few attacks. I've been sitting in the blue zone on my app. I haven't been doing any Lucy in the sky lately, Carl. I've had way too much intensity. When I have this much intensity, I just go either end. I go the intensity and I just back it off. Zone 1, lower zone 2. I hit Lucy in the sky if I'm racing once a week or so. Because even though it's an endurance intensity, it's definitely not a recovery intensity from those VO2 efforts. Yeah, Jason, I kind of got used to it, so when I ride without, or with the HUD, it's kind of annoying with all the name tags and power-ups. So at the moment, you can easily see down the road. You can see if someone attacks, especially if you're 40 riders back. But if you're racing with the HUD, if you're 40 riders back, riders up ahead just disappear in the haze of names, power-ups. I did the Aussie Hump Day ride recently and had to turn off the chat because otherwise the ride leader chat is right in the centre of the screen as you're coming into the sprint. Can't see anything. If they insist on having the ride leader chat right in the middle of the screen to make sure people follow, make it transparent at least so you can see behind it. Rightio, this is where it might kick off. Kicked off around here last time, I think. One of the other things about the no HUD races is you can't tell when you're going downhill as easily. So the pace still goes on quite high as we're going down the hill after this comb. I might do the out car. Definitely not doing the vent top because you don't get a time for it. But why bother? Yeah, exactly, Jason. It's actually harder to race in the lower cats because everyone's much closer together. So everyone's more at their maximum. Let's push over the top here. Make sure I don't get caught out. It's not really an attack, it's more a defensive manoeuvre. Because if I'm the one pushing the pace, I can control the pace. So now I go down the hill. People are still pushing big watts though, but they don't realise we're going down. So roll forward here. I've only changed the cats for the WTRL. Zwift is the same. It's a little bit complicated because for one circuit you might be a cat 2 and another circuit might be cat 3, because what they do is they rate each course. So say bend top, that's not going to have the same rating as say, well, this course, because this course suits big, heavy, powerful riders. So you can be a cat 1 or a cat 2. And then you go to another course and it changes. Not necessarily, but it can. It's based on performance. So you'll see with me, I always perform better than what Zwift Power says. I should. Because Zwift Power suits the sort of rider who just keeps a solid, constant effort. I'm never solid, constant. I'm always up, down, I'm racing hard. But in terms of performance, it realises that I should be racing the A+ riders. Whereas if the other way around, you'll be an A+ rider, but you just don't perform in races. Well, it's probably unlikely as an A+, but if you're a high A racer, you can be up against good B racers. I think what they're going to do, I'm not sure if they added it yet, but also be results based. So say if you're absolutely struggling in an event, keep getting last place, you'll eventually get dropped down the cut. Same thing if you're winning, well, not even winning, if you're getting top threes all the time, you'll get enough points and you'll go up to a cut that you might not necessarily be as strong as the riders, but you're a smart racer. Yeah. Looking at Carl's power data, I can see where David gets his brake train power from. Both of those guys are really good at just holding an effort. I'm sure they feel like it's painful, because it's painful for everyone. But they're just better than most at holding that effort. Like Ed Laverack. Yeah, you've been watching Phil streams. Bike Racing Without Mercy, Master Draftsman. He's definitely someone you can learn about tactics from. He has gotten a lot better though, and I know that in a lot of races he doesn't try and race as smart as he can because he wants to put the effort at the training ride for him. He still wants a result, but if the race is slower than he wants it to be, he'll be out the front slogging away, which makes good viewing. Certainly gets the comments going about press the feather. Jane, tell him to press the feather. Should get David to yell at him. Carl, tell him, yell at him, say power up on the climbs outdoors. It's been just a group ride, hasn't it? There's another example I talk about with cats. If this was a C or a D, there's no way it would be like this. But with A cat, because you're going faster, the draft is much more effective. So people just don't bother to attack that much. Yeah, coaching. I mean, I know that I coach myself, but one of the pieces of advice I give people if they ask about coaching is that the cyclists are funny. They'll happily spend $600 on a ceramic speed rear derailleur, but they won't pay $30 for coaching or whatever it is for a month. That ceramic speed derailleur is not going to do much to you if you're not preparing yourself for races or training properly, which a coach will do. Ed Laverack's plans are good because it gives people guidance. On my Zwift forum that I go to, so many riders are asking questions about things that might make, 0.05% difference. If you have a coach, the coach will say, stop worrying about that. This is what you should do. get on your bike. Or stop riding your bike, get on the couch, have a couple of days rest. Yeah, that's why you're so strong, Carl. For you just close your eyes and you just sit at that 1 hour. Automatically. I've been thinking about getting into TTs recently because after I broke my collarbone, changing my life, what you call it? Anyway, perspective about getting injured. Because originally I was thinking about getting into quick racing, being that I'm as fit as I am now. So I've been thinking about getting into TTs. You'd still crash, but generally it's your own fault. What scares me about racing with others is others crashing. When I did this around the bay ride 2 or 3 years ago, can't remember now. There were circumstances out of my control so often where if there was a slightly different position on the road, I would have gone down. And there was nothing I could have done. I don't get paid to ride, so I don't get paid to recover from injuries. But I really should get into doing TTing and using this fitness. You asked before if I ride outdoors, car. Definitely transferred from doing outdoors to indoors since my collarbone crash. I did do a gravel or 2 gravel races and then a road gravel on my road bike. That was fun. But they're long, I'm not short races. And I started at the back at all of them, so I wasn't racing in a group for very long. Gravel's certainly scary though. Gets your adrenaline going because sometimes it feels like you're seconds away from a crash. The first gravel ride I did, I didn't even get tired, like a little bit. I just couldn't put the power down because I had the wrong setup. I had tubes in my 32mm tyres, but I had to pump them up because I got it flat from a pinch from the rocks. Pinch flat, so I had to pump my front tyre a bit to stop it. But then I had no grip. But doing anything more than 40 kilometers an hour, and the front end was just all over the shop, vibrations. I didn't dare to lower the pressure, so I just rode around easy until I got to the hills. It was a lot of climbing, but still, it was only when I was going up that I was pushing hard. And then going down the hills, I'd have the brakes on doing 45 k's an hour. It was ridiculous. So the next race I got 38mm. Set them up tubeless. That was much better. Much better. I think I definitely posted in back pedal. I was really happy with myself because, I mean, I knew I was fit for Zwift, but it's really good to see the fitness from Zwift transfer to real life. And considering it was my second gravel race, I was happy that my bike handling didn't let me down too much. what were your best results, Carl, in your TT events? There's going to be one of those backpedal moments where we find out that you're a British champion or something. Well, this pace is really backed off. I don't know if you can hear my cadence. But I've got that real low stop cadence going at the moment because doing not many watts. Someone's going to go very shortly. It just suits me because I'm one of the heavier riders. I've got, I think, the third best sprint power, 15 seconds. So as you can see, my MPA is right up, recovered fully. I'm sure it's going to kick off now, but if it doesn't, it'll be my best 15-second power on Zwift. There you go. Don't use too much because we'll all come together shortly. Here we go, we're coming together. I was right over the top a little bit, not much. I don't want it, the pace to drop off too much. So here we go, guys. Got a nice sit here. Might need to change up a gear soon. It's always further than you think, this sprint. Look, someone's going real early. Good spot here. Bit late. Oh, bit late. I'm a bit late. I got caught out by the distance then, but luckily salvaged fourth. I should have been up there with... that's racing, isn't it? It was funny because people went really early. I think they thought that the sprint was going to be much closer. I got no idea about the 10 miles. I'll have to look at that later, Carl. I'll take your word for it that you're not the British champion though. But you're still strong. Oh. Not much. Sorry guys for that sprint. Thanks Jason. That's the thing about the HUD race, is that I really sprint on this course. I know that it's around the corner, but that corner came up much faster than I was expecting. I was in the right position, just need to kick 3 seconds earlier. I don't even know if I did 15 seconds. Let's see. So 5 seconds, yeah, only 910. Yeah, probably about 8 seconds there. Soft effort. I think I allowed myself to sleep a bit in that sprint. Thanks for watching guys, keeping me company. On the other channels I follow, because everyone a valued viewer. Thanks my valued viewers. Thanks Carl. Definitely a lot of effort to get here though. Yeah, I put in quite a lot of hours. That's a good thing about Zwift. When I ride outdoors, it's almost comical when I come up against other riders. Come up against guys who are quite good, but they don't ride the hours that I do. And if I'm wearing my delivery uniform, which I do sometimes if I go to the shop, like my bag and stuff, they all pull up in front of me at the traffic lights, tear up as fast as they can. And to me, I just cruise along behind them and then just keep going. Don't know where I'm going with this, but when you're racing on Zwift, you can find riders that are better than you. It's very hard to do that unless you're doing a race outdoors. I mean, coming across general riders on the street, but the commuter Grand Prix, it's quite comical now. That's one of the reasons why I don't ride outdoors as much now, because I feel uncomfortable with the speed that I do. Because I know as a car driver and a motorbike rider, you're expecting cyclists to go a certain speed. You look up and you see a cyclist 200 metres away, and you think, oh, I've got plenty of time to pull out in front of them. I'll look left, or if you're in America, look right, and then pull out. But if it's me coming along, or anyone who's fast, coming along, not looking like you're pushing the pedals hard, but you're still doing 300 to 350 watts, you're moving along quite quick. So I surprise a lot of drivers. So it makes me feel uncomfortable. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I better do the outro, so I haven't got really much to talk about apart from old war stories, things, incidents with taxi drivers, Uber drivers. So thanks for watching, valued viewers. I'll see you in Backpedal.